I'm not even going to count that because I literally moved the deck and the card fell out. You want to know what it is? It was the King of Pentacles that came out, but just put it back in the deck. So anywho, hello, Cancer. Welcome to your April Soul session. I'm Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend and whatnot, all whatever. So we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards. We're going to start out with an overall energy as well as a challenge, and then we're going to get into a more specific spread. Okay. Interesting. Then we're going to get into a more specific spread. I'm going to go ahead and pull those cards now for continuity and whatnot, all whatever. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Your overall energy for the month of April is the Seven of Swords. What you skip will trip you up later, as I always say. This is challenged by the Ten of Wands. Okay, so what is looking like Cancer? The same theme that's happening for everyone. So here's the deal. It's probably because of the eclipse. I'll let you know that, but it's more or less it's coming face to face with shortcuts you may have taken or cutting corners with things, or if there's something that you don't want to confront or something you may not want to address or something that may be, a little too complicated to kind of deal with at present. I do really feel like it's something along the lines of it's diving deep into something, whether that be emotionally or if it's just something that's kind of convoluted. The theme that's been coming up for everyone is like finances, you know what I mean? Like it's having issues with like money, but to solve the problems it's going to require you to like sit down with a pen and paper and look at how much you're really making a month, looking at how much you're really spending a month, looking at what it is you can cut back on. It's kind of like a very tedious, that would be the word. It's a very tedious kind of process. So whether it's something external or it's something internal, where it's like emotions that you're feeling about a person, situation, circumstance, if it's past trauma, whatever the case, it's the source of a lot of the issues you're dealing with day to day date back to something that feels kind of insurmountable, because to solve this particular problem, it requires tedium, and it's not wanting to have to deal with the tedium, right? And so it's kind of avoiding it because the level of tediousness that's going to be required to kind of sort through all of this. I mean, on a mundane level, this could be something as simple as a stack of mail or a stack of papers that need to be filed, or files on your computer that need to be organized, or family pictures that need to be gone through. You know what I'm saying? It's something where it's like, and it makes me think, it's funny. It kind of makes me think of a story in Greek mythology of Psyche and Cupid, and how Venus had Psyche going through all of these trials. And one of them in particular, she locked her in a cellar with like seeds. And she told her like her and her son could be together if she sorted all of the seeds and put each seed with its own kind. But mind you, homegirl was in a room with like piles of seeds that were all mixed in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel from Cancer's perspective, dealing with this is like to that level, to where it feels like an insurmountable task, and that's what's causing you to kind of avoid this. But I feel like this has been something, like this isn't something new, like this isn't something that just pops up in the month of April. I feel like this is something that you guys have been avoiding for some time, you know what I mean? And I don't necessarily feel that there's like a time limit on it where your back is against the wall and like you have to deal with it in April. It's just kind of like, whatever this is, it's almost like it's building interest over time. So it's not going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where if you never deal with it, it's not like it's just there in its state. And, whenever you feel like dealing with it, like you can deal with it. I feel that over time, interest is being added to it. So if we go back to the Psyche Cupid reference, it's like the longer that you wait to sort the seeds, over time, more seeds are being added to the pile. You feel what I'm saying? Like they're not going anywhere. So it's not the same amount, more is being added to it, you know? So I don't know what we're talking about specifically, but I don't know, Cancer, like that with something like that, because the thing I think about is like a credit card. It's like having a credit card and not paying the credit card, but then it's like every month it's gaining interest. You know what I'm saying? Or student loans or something like that. So it's like you could turn a blind eye and pretend like this isn't happening, but it's like the problem's getting bigger over time. You feel what I'm saying? And the challenge with this 10 of Wands is pretty much facing the music, like accepting like this is happening. This is something that I need to deal with, and electing to start putting time, energy, and effort into like working this down, whatever this is, or going through piece by piece. And it makes me think of my father-in-law who used to say this, how do you eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like an insurmountable task to eat an elephant because elephants are ginormous, but you have to start somewhere. So it's just one piece at a time, as opposed to thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to eat a whole elephant? You know what I mean? It's like breaking it down in a sense. And I hope that that makes sense for you all. Now, getting to your more specific spread, your central energy representing you all. Oh, child. For the month of April, we have the 5 of Cuppies. Your past influence, child, is the 6 of Swords in the reverse. Your hidden influence is the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Your above energy, which is your potential outcome, child, we have the Tower, that's Scorpio energy. And what to look out for in the future. Okay, we have the Lovers, that is Gemini energy. So, my wonderful Cancerians, what it is looking like off the gate with this 5 of Cuppies, it's feeling imprisoned, feeling trapped. You're in the same energy that the entire collective is in, so you're in good company. Your energy is oriented towards the past. You are not present. You're not even aware of what is possible for you at present, like meaning in the present moment. Like there is hope for the future. There is a way out of this, but I feel you guys are kind of stagnated and stuck mentally as well as emotionally, because you're dwelling, and I'm saying dwelling, but I would have to say there's like two different groups of Cancers. There's like one group of you to where you're kind of dwelling on the fact of the task at hand. And this isn't fair that I'm in this situation, and this is too much. And I don't know how I could possibly do this. Why isn't anyone helping me? And how am I supposed to figure this out alone? It's like that kind of vibe. Then there's like another group of you to where it's like disassociating. Yet like this isn't happening. You know what I mean? And it's like putting it to the back of your mind, not looking at it, and just not wanting to confront it. But the thing that's important to know, the clock kind of stopped for Cancer in March, right? With the 6 of Swords in the reverse, because nothing has changed. You feel what I'm saying? It's like how I was saying, it's building interest, right? And whatever it is that you're doing, like with the 7 of Swords, what you skip will trip you up later, and the later is now. I've said the same thing for Aries, and that's, you know, the season that we're in. So that's a collective reading if you want to check that out. But the whole thing is here, I feel with this particular issue and with other issues, whenever Cancer finds themselves in a situation that is overwhelming and insurmountable, there's some of you where your natural defense mechanism is disassociating. There's another group of you where your natural defense mechanism is just kind of wallowing in a sense. But I feel the message in the month of April is to realize that dealing with things like this being your coping mechanism for situations such as this, it's not behooving you. It's just overburdening you unnecessarily. And granted, it is extremely uncomfortable, right? And I feel you with tedious stuff because I absolutely hate tedious stuff. I am not a fan, right? But the whole thing is the longer that you put it off, it's like the harder that you're making it on yourself. And I'm being told this is so the same even with health stuff, you know? It's like if you feel like something's kind of off in your body and you're like putting off going to the doctor. I feel like I said something. I think I said this in my weekly it or in another soul session. I have no idea, y'all. I do so many readings. I have no clue. But anyway, but it's like you could put something off with your health, and it could be something that could be nipped in the bud if you catch it early. But if you keep putting it off, it's like this could end up becoming something that's an even bigger deal if than it really needs to be. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like that's so much worse because I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but literally how I see the world is in the context very much like Seven of Swords. Like you can't cheat life. You know what I'm saying? So I feel if ever we're disassociating from something or pretending something isn't happening so that we can have like the illusion thereof of peace in the meantime, in between time, I look at that as like robbing life. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if we use the doctor situation, you feel something is off, you're too scared to go to the doctor, so you're like, screw it, I'm not going to go, and then you just keep living life. So the sense of peace that you feel not going to the doctor and knowing if anything is wrong or not, and you're just not thinking about it, any sentiment of peace or happiness that you have in that meantime, in between time, I look at that as like energetically robbing life, because it's like an illusion. It's not real. This isn't real peace. This isn't real happiness, because there's a huge gaping part of the story that we're just blatantly ignoring because we don't want to know the outcome of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of putting ourselves into Seven of Cups energy. It's like it's a self delusion. You know what I mean? And I feel in reality, it's better to have bad news and know the truth than to delude yourself with a lie, like to lull yourself to sleep with a lie, when ultimately you're going to have to face the music anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like eventually you're going to have to face it. So, and I feel like that's even worse because if you ignore it, then it gets to a point where it gets so bad and you have to face the music and you have to go to the doctor. I feel like getting the news of, wow, here's this whole thing that's been growing in your body. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if you would have went initially, this wouldn't have been life threatening, but because you waited so long, now it is. So you got like, I don't know, a year of not having to hear bad news, but it's like now it's like you've cut your timeline short. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, was that really worth it? Was it really worth it to, live in denial for a year when you could have faced the music initially, solved the problem, and then, lived happily ever after until the foreseeable future? You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, that's my perception on life. That's how I keep myself accountable. You feel what I'm saying? But with this tower being the potential outcome, the thing that I can tell you, and this is literally very much a forewarning, Cancer, whether you like it or not, because it's the same thing that's happening for the entire collective. It's more or less, we all cannot pass go and collect $200 without the veil opening and all of us seeing the truth. So I have pretty much said to every single sign prior to you, and I will say to the signs after you, that in the month of April, it's the veil is going to open. And once the veil opens, we are going to see 360 degrees of what has been happening in our lives, what has been the fault of others, what has been our own fault. I feel like anything that has been, the byproduct of our choices, that's your most important intel and data, because what other people did, are doing, or will continue to do for the foreseeable future is neither here nor there, because that is outside of your locus of control. You have no control over what other people are doing or not doing. You feel what I'm saying? But you have control over what you're doing. So any, Delululemon type of situation that any Cancerian is in, I can tell you for sure that by the end of April, right? That, like I said, the veil's going to be open. You are going to know 110% exactly what it is that's happening in your life. And with this lovers, what to look out for, which I feel is also a heads up, is you're being given the option to choose, like everyone else, we're all at a crossroads of what path you're going to choose moving forward. Are you going to choose a sensory consciousness path, which is, you know, I don't want to go to the next level. I want to stay in the same cycle that I've been in. I have no desire to level up, to be enlightened, to have, full on awareness. I want to stay living in the narrative that my human is in this particular incarnation, right? I want to believe all of this around me is true. There's nothing more to this. This is my lot in life. There's nothing more than this, right? Or it's you choosing the higher consciousness path, which is taking full personal accountability for choices that we're making every day, accepting what it is that we have endured throughout the course of our life, what it is that we've gained from that, creating, our perception on life, what we believe the meaning of life is, all the things, right? And wanting to level up and, connect with our higher self, with spirit, Jesus, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in. You feel what I'm saying? But with this page of pentacles in the reverse, I feel this is a mentality that's in your hidden influence. I feel it's a mentality that is specifically a lack mentality, right? So at the root of all of this that's happening, I feel the avoidance of the tedium or um problems that seem like a lot is it's really going back to a false, I have to stress that, a false core belief about oneself that and I said this to Aquarius, that is aligned with like inadequacy, feeling as if you don't have the strength, the resilience, the wherewithal, the knowledge, the finances, the resources, the ability, what have you. It's measuring yourself lower than is the truth about you. And mind you, like I said, these are hidden influences, right? So these are things that we have to do work and, really reflect on our actions, our behaviors, and our choices to get this type of intel. Like the things that we're doing externally, what do those mean? And what are our behaviors saying about our inner beliefs? You know what I'm saying? Because whether we're aware of it or not, we're always behaving and acting in accordance with what it is that we truly believe about ourselves, right? So I feel that there's a false core belief that is like the program running underneath all of this that has you avoiding situations like this because it's believing I'm not equipped to handle this, right? And I don't know why it's like that narrative of like, why do I always have to do this by myself? Why isn't anyone helping me? Like people see that I'm struggling. Like why wouldn't anyone chip in to help? I do all of this stuff for other people. When they're going through something, I show up for them. But when I'm going through something, it's like, why isn't anyone showing up for me? You feel what I'm saying? It's like that feels like a narrative that one, believes about their experience. But whatever the case, I can tell you before the end of this month, what it is that's happening underneath all of this is going to be made very clear to you. And, it's rounding out this month by making a choice. So it's not at all going to be that, everything's going to be figured out. Our whole lives are going to shift and change. And I could literally tell you the date that this shocking thing may potentially happen would be on around after, literally the eclipse is on the 8th of April. So it's going to be during that time frame where, the blinders come off and we're going to get a glimpse of everything. And what you see from there is kind of where you build up from. So if we stay in alignment with the tower, it's like the tower is going to be knocked down and you have the choice to either pick up those bricks and rebuild that tower and encase yourself in it, or you can look at it and decide to walk away from it completely and go somewhere entirely different. You feel what I'm saying? But I love the tower. It's one of my favorite cards in the tarot deck because I feel the tower is spirit saving us from ourselves. Like we were in a prison of our own making that we didn't even realize that we were in. And had it not been for this shocking thing to happen that set us free from this prison, we would have never had the option to get back to ground zero to see everything clearly. And like I've been telling all of the signs, what you choose to do from there is no right or wrong with that. It's you making a statement of what you feel is right or wrong for you. That's why I say you could take the bricks and encase yourself back into the tower if you wanted to, because the whole point of April is us consciously making a decision. If we want to be in a prison of our own making, we need to be like, we're being offered an opportunity to consciously make that choice. Because I feel up until this moment, all of us who may feel that we're imprisoned in our life somehow, we feel like we haphazardly ended up there, right? I may have made a couple of bad decisions, but everyone else, all of these people who have done these things, and I ended up here, right? So it's like we're all being set free and delivered. And from deliverance day and every day after that, it's what are you going to do after that? So everyone gets set free. Everyone's on a level playing field. Are you going to build a prison or are you going to build a paradise, right? Whatever it is that's built from here has nothing to do with anything that has transpired past tense, right? And that's why, like, I think it's an interesting thing with you guys being in Five of Cups. That is like the definition of being stuck in the past. The tower sitting on top of that, you're clearly delivered, snapped out of it in the month of April. You will be snapped out of this and you will see the present reality as it stands. But everything that happens from that moment, what life is built for Cancers, for Tauruses, all the signs, right? For all of us as individuals, whatever life is built past April, that is going to be the life that we're choosing to build. You feel what I'm saying? Can we snap our fingers and shift everything in the world around us? Absolutely not. We have no control over what is happening. The only thing that we have control over is how we choose to respond to what it is that's happening. But the thing that I can say for everyone is we're moving forward with the sobriety of that, right? You're getting a clear glimpse of what is happening. Now you choose how you want to respond to that. And with that, we have to take that charge of personal accountability. You feel what I'm saying? So we can't Seven of Swords this energy, right? Anything we do moving forward, that's all on us, right? But the thing that I feel for Cancer that is going to be of utmost importance, it's not about the shocking event. That's not what's important. It's what comes up. And it's Cancer finding out what this Page of Pentacles in the reverse is for you. You know what I'm saying? What is that lack mentality that you have inside of yourself? What is it inside of yourself that you feel that you're inadequate at, or that you feel that you're lacking? That's what it is that needs to be confronted, but that's simultaneously also the thing that's going to set you free. Because I feel whatever that is that you guys feel that you're not equipped with, that's the same thing that's been keeping you prisoner all of this time. And I hope and pray that that's making sense, Cancer. But anywho, that has been your soul session for the month of April. I want you guys to choose the path that's best for you. I'm not going to tell you which one to pick. You know what I'm saying? But pick the one that makes you the most fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? But know that you have an opportunity to change the narrative. But anywho, Cancer, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than